So guys, I'm just sitting here and enjoying a nice cup of coffee this morning. Trying to come up with a plan for what I want to do for a video for you guys. Hopefully it's a wonderful day. Also guys, I wanted to say thank you so much for everybody, all my supporters that have been here from day one it seems like, and then all of you new people who have been subscribing to the channel and watching my videos. Thank you so much, you guys. It means so much to me. Yesterday, within a 24-hour period, midnight to midnight, I went up 37 subscribers. It's crazy. I just couldn't believe, you know, like my channel is just growing faster and faster and faster and faster. I remember a couple days ago I had messaged Jake's GoPro. I'm like, dude, I finally hit, you know, 1,231 because that's what he was at. I'm like, feels good, man. And you know, and then the next day it was 1,250, and then the day after that, you know, it's 1,267, and it's just climbing and climbing and climbing. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Please don't forget to like all the videos, leave comments, and I am so excited to continue this YouTube journey with you guys. So thank you so much. What I do want to do right now, I said do the do. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I just kind of want to give you guys a little bit of a property tour and just to kind of explain to you guys how what I'm doing every day when it comes to deer management and stuff like that and improving the property. It's not just some random idea popped into my head and say, oh, let's just go with it and see if it works. It's stuff because I've kind of learned the activities and the patterns of the deer on the property, and I know what has to be done to optimize it and make it that much better. So I'm standing in a food plot right now that, if you haven't seen it already, I have a video on me cleaning out this area, and I'll show you why. Okay, first off, look at that giant pile of crap, stumps and vines and all that mess we got dozed out, and all that firewood, that was all sitting in here. So here's where the plot used to end. Right here, okay? None of this was a plot. This was all massive pile of tree crowns. Deer couldn't access it. They had to go all the way around, and they either had to put in the effort to come backtrack this way, or they just kept on moving and we would never get a shot. That has already changed their pattern within 2 days of bulldozing this out. And now I come back here 2 days even after that. It's been 4 days now, and they're already using it exactly the way I had planned that they would. Okay, so you see this corner over here. When I was telling you in that other video, these deer could not access the plot from this side. They had to loop all the way around, or they'd have to loop all the way over that direction and come in. Well, guess what? It's only been a few days, and the deer are already naturally feeding right out of this corner. Not feeding, there's obviously no food here, but they're already naturally funneling out of this corner. And this just got implemented just a few days back. And so it just goes to show, if you know your deer, you know what they need, and you know how to optimize it, you can really improve your hunting within a matter of days. That can really shift the way, you know, you can hunt your property for years and years to come. So like if we would have just left this for years and years and years and never cleaned this out, I mean, we still probably would have been okay. I mean, it would have been a lot harder to harvest a deer out of this location, but we could have probably gotten by. But this is just going to make it that much better and that much more enjoyable, you know, for me, my brother, my dad, and you know, and so on and so forth to come and hunt now, because we have so much of a greater chance of harvesting a deer, because I foresaw the problem and I knew what we had to do to optimize it, and we just totally fixed it. And now this plot is going to be so much better this year, and the deer are going to be so much more intrigued, and they're going to be able to funnel right into this, and we're not going to have any issues. It's going to be awesome, and I'm super excited to get this planted, to get deer season coming back around already. I got a lot of work to do in the meantime, but all good things. Awesome. Now I want to go back and show you another plot, maybe a bedding area, maybe a tunnel or two, just to kind of show you what I've done to really optimize our property. So I guess you could kind of call this a property tour. Catch you back in a minute. Okay, so I'm on a deer tunnel slash trail slash path that I made for these deer, and I just kind of want to explain to you what it does and how it helps you and how it can help the deer and how it can really benefit you when it comes to trying to, you know, make your deer do what you want them to do, besides them just doing whatever they have to do. Okay, so see this trail? There's a trail. I mean, you can kind of see it. It's pretty obvious to me. I don't know how it looks with the camera, but I got some trees hinge cut over the trail, and here's what I did. All I did was took this and I kind of trimmed up stuff along the trail, hinged some stuff down on the sides of the trail, as you can see all through here, to kind of make like a visual barrier to that direction. And then you can see right here, look at this trail. Hinge cut trees over top of it down there, a couple of them. And this is just like a little deer highway, little limbs over there. It just works out really, really well. And the deer, for the most part, will keep this stuff kind of nipped back, you know, trimmed back a little bit, you know, as they use it. Tree a hinge cut over. Look at all the new growth up there. Same for this one, you know, I hinge cut this one. Still live, you can see it still, you know, reforming to the hinge and strengthening the tree up. All this new growth up on top that was never there. And then it also gave light to this little shrub here. Now that's taken off even higher. And then here's a little transition zone. It's on a logging path right here. Got my salt block here. Got my trail kimmer right there. I've got a 2-man setup right there. And that is a very lethal setup. They come across this trail, and you know that's 32 yards, I think, right around there. And then you got this little salt block here, and then you continue on your trail here. And now I just want to let you know, this trail connects from the food plot that I was just at when I showed you all the way to this back one. And let me continue down the trail to show you where that ends out. So I have a little tunnel here, everything tied down over top here. Really good tunnel system. It just looks so cool coming back in here. And what this will do is it'll allow the sunlight to hit the sides of these trees you have tied down to where they grow. Like, look at all this nice growth up on top. But then underneath, it kind of shades it out so that nothing grows on the trail itself, which works a lot better than having to do Roundup and all this stuff. And that's just a lot more expensive over the years. But this just kind of takes care of two things. Keeps the trail open and clear, and it establishes great growth up above to keep it, you know, give you that good overhead cover for these deer to feel safe when traveling in the daytime. I got this trail cleaned out right through here. Got this all trimmed back. Looky here. Ends right back here in a food plot to a hidden back field. And what's that? Oh, look, tree stand, 25 yards. Just a beautiful little plot. I got to get in here and work the ground and get it all taken care of, but I mean, you can just see these deer are just decimating this plot. I mean, there's just tracks everywhere all through here. Just the whole thing is just tore up. So that's, I mean, I'm just excited about that. Gonna be having a plot going in here soon. This plot's greening up with some clovers and crap, but I didn't plant that in here. It's just kind of growing up on its own. Actually, quite a bit of clover. If you look through here, there's tons of it. There's tons of clover all through here. What I might do is mow this half that's got tons of clover in it and just maintain it as a clover plot. Just kind of mow it a couple times out of the year, make sure it stays mowed back so that the competing grasses stay killed off. But then I might plant this other half, which is what I did last year. Plant this, you know, far half that the deer enter the field on, and make that a nice late season fall plot into winter. That is what I think I will do with that. But just wanted to show you how it connected all the way from the other side of the property on the same tunnel system all the way to this plot. Just a cool strategy and a cool tactic to implement to the property. Really ups the game. And I also showed everybody that was currently subscribed. I've gotten about 100 subscribers since just a couple, you know, just a few videos back. It's been crazy. Yesterday I went up 37. Like I said, I already told you at the beginning of the video. Amazing. I'm so very thankful. You guys are just awesome. I love you all. But here's my next area. Those of you who did not see it. What this is this was a plot that we had done a couple years ago. Before that, it was just overgrown. Not quite like everything else, but just tall grasses and stuff. So we mowed it all down, this little area, and we did a plot in here. And the problem with what we did was the plot wasn't a big deal. It was great. You know, having a plot back in the bedding was there for the deer to utilize. It was awesome. They used it like crazy. The problem was we hunted it. No longer going to be hunting it, but just because we're not going to hunt it doesn't mean you can't put a good plot back here. So what I'm going to do is I just called up Invite yesterday, which they are a very wonderful little company that are sponsoring me, and they're giving me VIP pricing on all their stuff, which is phenomenal, and I'm so very thankful. If you guys watch this, thank you so much. I called them up, and I'm going to be planting their extreme perennials in this plot. Reason being, tons of sunlight for clover, which is what it wants and what it needs. There's nothing really else competing in here. Like, this is 2 years worth of growth, and there's like nothing in here. The only thing that grows back here is a little bit of grass. It's not like tons of thistles and insane amount of briars and everything crazy. It's just like, it just grows like grassy stuff. It's going to be a wonderful spot. It's high and dry, so it doesn't get overly saturated with water. Like, I mean, this ground is not soft at all back here. It's not like stiff clay, but it's not, you know, it's not junk soil at all. It's good soil, high and dry, plenty of sunlight, and it will be a phenomenal location. I'm so excited to be able to do this plot back here with their extreme perennials blend, because as you can see, look at this incredible bedding all surrounding this location. Everything around here is amazing deer bedding, tons of deer bedding. It's just crazy. And so then all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna till this up and I'm gonna plant clover and chicory in this, and it is going to be a dynamite little staging area as they're feeding their way out to that other little plot that I just showed you that connects to our back field. This kind of works as a transition zone. They kind of feed in here a little bit. When they move out of their bedding, they'll come out of the bedding right behind me. They'll feed in here and they'll take this tractor path out to that little plot that I was just in, and then they kind of feed out to the main field. Awesome little staging area. It's not gonna hold the deer back here too long. It's just a little area where they can come through when they're going to and from the main feeding and bedding, and they can just take a couple bites and be on their way. Also, it's gonna make the spot a little bit more appealing to the deer because right now it's just tall and short junk weeds and stuff. So anyways, I'm gonna get on to the next location and show you what else I have going on. I was about to start talking to you, but I turned on my camera and noticed a little snake. Anyway, so here's my next spot. What I have here is a trail with ribbons, obviously lots of ribbons, goes back to a stand. This right here on the outside in here is where I keep my Magnum scrape dripper. I have it hung up right now so that it's not in the way, dangling around. You know, obviously this works as a licking branch, and I got a scrape underneath here. This works as a great little hub. It's right along this back field with the alfalfa feeding field, and it's a trail that I made, but they now use a lot. Then I got a trail that I have cleared off going back to the stand. Now this works as my trail to go to and from the stand, but it also works as you can see, a deer trail. The deer now use it as well, very frequently actually, a ton. So I got some trees hinged over here, lots of great structure, and you guys have to understand that structure for your deer is a must. I mean, you've got to have lots of structure for your deer. It just makes them feel more comfortable on your property in whatever situation they're in. It just really helps out with the easing of the deer. They become very, very, you know, confident in your property. They like to use it and they feel good about it because there's plenty of cover, ample cover, great structure. It's everything that a deer wants, so it's everything a deer is okay with, and it really helps a ton. So we're back to another location here, and what I have back here, as you can see, tree stand, and it's on the side closer to the addition. Yes, we have lots of development around here, sadly. We got the tree stand right there, a little salt lick right here, which isn't always going to be here. There's a tree branch fell down right through here. Came off right there. Anyways, so we've got this right here, this trail. This is another trail like the first one that I showed you. Lots of trees hinge cut on this side to make more brush facing the addition, and then they walk on the back side of that as an edge. They kind of walk it as an edge, and it really helps a ton with deer traffic, and it really makes them feel a lot more comfortable walking up along this edge here with all this cover to their side, because you know, when there's lawnmowers, there's kids playing, the less they can see, the better off you're gonna be. So keep that as a rule of thumb. The less the deer can see when it comes to human activity and other stuff of that nature, they do adjust, but they never fully adjust. They never fully trust human activity. It's just the way it is. It's not natural to their environment. Lots of cover to the side, but you don't want the deer to see quite as much as a screen. It continues on here, and this trail goes all the way to the other side of the property, where the property line is, and it connects all the way this direction to a bedding area that I've showed a couple of times in some other habitat videos. So if you haven't checked those out, please do that. Anyway, so this location is just kind of like in between an addition and then in between the feeding field that I just kind of showed you by that mock scrape, and I have like a tunnel system going right through a trail for these deer, and these deer, especially in the rut, they just love this trail. They run it like crazy. The bucks do, the does do, to try to get away from the bucks. And then I've got this tree stand right up here behind me that really works like dynamite, you know, late October into mid-November. Awesome spot. It's a must-have for this property, and without this stand location and without this tunnel system here, you could still hunt it, yes, but it'd be a lot tougher because it doesn't have the deer funneled down. They could still go, you know, 60, 70 yards either side of you versus pinpointing them right down to this trail so they come in at 20 yards every single time. Another great feature to have on your property, good funnels. If you don't have them, make them. You will have a lot greater success on your property when it comes to harvesting mature bucks. Okay, another little thing that I have implemented onto our property here that I am very excited to do. A lot of the stuff I've just implemented within the last 2 years. This one I actually just did within the last couple months. Another thing that is going to be a very huge key and part of success with this part of the property, and I want to explain to you why, of course. Straight across the field is where I just showed you that mock scrape and that other tunnel and system and everything else that I have going on over there. Over here now, we have the water hole, and I made a video on how I made this, making this and everything else, and there's a two-man setup in this brushy, tangled mess up in there. It's a lot roomier up in there than it looks, a lot more comfortable than it may look from here with all the crown of thorn, but these deer can come in here. It's a little trail that I have made through this tree line, because it's a very thick tree line. And then I've got a water hole where the water comes in and then the water drains out down the stream. And this water hole has held water since the first day that I dug it out. Has never ran dry yet, and it's been working like a champ. The deer have been using it, and it's great. I just need to get some minerals here. I want to get a mineral bag. I've seen these mineral bag things, and I think I want to get a mineral bag and hang it from like that little tree right there, so that the deer can have a mineral thing, but it's not going to sit here in the water, you know, where it could, you know, dissolve a lot faster if we do get a hefty amount of water coming through here. You can see all the tracks in here. There's a pretty substantial amount of tracks coming through here all the time now. These deer use this like clockwork. I'm super excited for this setup. Another great thing to have, the reason I put this right here is there's two big feeding sources on both sides. Both of these fields, the one on to my left and my right, are used constantly by the deer, but I've never hunted this tree line and kind of used this little water hole as like a little transition zone that these deer are going to want to use, because they transition field to field sometimes. But when you're archery hunting, you can't shoot all the way across the field, you know, I mean, that's a given. But so I'm going to have this little watering hole here, and then I'm going to have this tree stand here, and hopefully these deer get, because this tree line is really thick except for this spot, I'm hoping that they get so on a pattern of transitioning right through this spot by this watering hole that whenever I sit up in this stand, I'm going to have a deer come within 25 yards, more than likely, because it's just going to be a habit to come by this water hole when they're out here feeding, because it's going to be right on top of their feed source. The water is really close. It's right there. It'll be convenience. There's going to be a price they're going to have to pay, a convenience fee. If we're sitting up there in the stand, we're going to be taking venison home. Sorry for the joking. In all honesty, yes, it's going to be a great location. The deer are going to love it, and I'm super excited to hit this stand up this fall. So I'm at another location on the property here, and the next thing I would suggest you guys do, of course, if it's your property and you have permission from, I guess if it's yours, you only need to ask yourself, and then I hinge cut our property lines, and this is for many, many reasons. A, our neighboring property here is a public walking trails park, and do people ever want to walk in the dead heat of the summer? Do people ever want to walk in the bitter cold of the winter? No. When do they want to walk? Fall, right in the middle of rut. Here's the problem that I have. Everybody wants to walk right in the middle of fall, but that's when I gotta hunt. So the times you need it to be the most quiet in the woods with human activity is the most human activity, it seems like. It doesn't really go to weather. It doesn't really go together well. So what I've done is I've hinge cut the property line extensively. I'll try to show you that here. And what this does, and what this has done for us is it has made the property, there's a massive visual barrier that the deer don't have to see what the heck's going on with the neighbor's property. And when they're on the neighbor's property, if they get spooked or whatever, they can look at this and go, holy smokes, there's a brick wall of thick brush, and they hop right into it every single time. Why would a deer not want to go into the thickest cover when they're being spooked by human activity, walking around through the woods? I don't know about you, but if I were a deer, that's probably what I would do as well. Hinge cutting the property line extensively helps out a ton. Even if your neighbors are hunters and it's not a public walking trail, they don't need to see what's going on in your woods, you know what I mean? Like, just keep it blocked off. They don't need to see what's going on here. And as the years go on, this is gonna grow up to be thick, nasty briars. But don't worry about the deer being able to get in. They always find a way. They're always gonna be able to get into your property. You don't have to worry about that. The deer will snake their way in every single time. What you're trying to do is keep the neighbor's visual out of your property, keep the neighbors from being able to physically go into your property as much as possible, but also keeping a visual from the deer being able to see out of your property, as well as a visual when they see the property, they want to go for it because it's so much thicker than your neighbor's 9 out of 10 times. Hinge cut your property line if you're able to, if it's your land. Now, the next thing I want to mention to you guys is bedding. And this is probably, this is the icing on the cake. This is what tops it all off, and this is what you have to have if you want to be the most successful when it comes to harvesting mature bucks. You have to have bedding areas, designated bedding areas. Now, I'm not saying areas that you just mark off with ribbons and then you say, okay, in that zone, we're not going to go in there, and then that's just going to make it a bedding area. No, because it doesn't really change the state that it's in currently. What I mean is hinge cut bedding areas. I've got videos on this, so if you want to go know what I'm talking about in terms of making hinge cut bedding areas, go look at those videos. They will help you out a ton, and they're very detailed to explain it to you as to why we do it and how it helps. You need to have bedding areas. We have probably an acre worth of bedding here, and we have another acre worth of bedding back in that other little abandoned plot that I showed you that I called a heart-shaped plot or something, where I was going to plant the clover. All surrounding that is a bedding area too, and that's just 60, 70 yards this direction. So in the heart of our property, we have 2 bedding areas. And this one I've extensively hinge cut strategically over the last 3-4 years. And this one is just a natural thick bedding area that they've always used because it's so thick. We haven't had to really do anything with it other than stay out of it because it's already so thick naturally. But this is a man-made bedding area. I would go through it all, but I've already got videos on it going through it, and a lot of you guys have already seen it, so I don't really want to, spend my time going through there in the video just to make it so much longer. I would rather not do that right now. There's tons of tracks. You can look through here. Tons of tracks coming in and out of these bedding areas, through here. So great tool to have. Look at this trail I made coming out of the bedding area. It just comes right down out, and then they take this turn right here. Just look at all these tracks. Just tons of tracks just piling out of that bedding area. These are actually super fresh. There's tons of tracks all through here. The icing on the cake, this is probably gonna wrap up the video. You have to have bedding areas. That is pretty much it. This is my property tour, what all we have implemented on our property. And I could do another video for you guys on tree stand placement in terms of how to place it surrounding all these different things that you implement to the property. Like how close should you be to bedding areas? How close should you be to food plots? Should you be off the food plots? Should you be right on the food plots? Outsides of trails, the end of tunnels, stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but this is probably gonna wrap up today's video on my property tour. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that like button. It helps out immensely. You guys have no idea. Comment below what your thoughts were on the video. Did it help you out at all? Did it kind of open your eyes? Did I show you something in this video that nobody else has showed you before? If so, what was it, and how could that help you in a situation that you might be in? So leave a comment, and if you're stopping for the first time, don't forget to subscribe. I would love to have you join the channel. There's always going to be new videos coming out almost every single day, and right now I've been on about a 2-month streak posting a video every single day at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. So thank you so much. Please subscribe. Take care. I'll catch you in the next video.